Hello, welcome to week 24, all about school policies. Let's start by having a look at the questions for this week. You've got two questions from Unit 5, 5.4.1. Explain. Explain question. Explain why schools and colleges have policies and procedures. And 5.4.2. Identify the policies and procedures schools and colleges have for A, the staff, B, pupil welfare, and C, teaching and learning. Okay, one explain question, one identify question. Let's have a look further down. Here is the worksheet that you need to fill in for this week. So let's click on that. And you can see here, worksheet with two sides. I've already filled in quite a bit of it for you. Let's have a look and see what you need to do. Okay, so there's your two questions. The explain question is coming first. And the question is, explain why schools have policies and procedures. So I'm asking you, I've given you 1, 2, 3, 4 possible answers, and I would like you to write a short explain paragraph for each of these. And because it's explained, don't forget to P. That is P for make a point. Well, the points are actually here in these bullet points. Give an example. So you could say, for example, in my school, and then explain. And to help you explain, you should use words like because, in order to, or as a result. So why do schools have policies and procedures? Here are my 4 reasons. Well, to start off with, it's a statutory requirement. That means you have to do it by law. And if you don't, you won't pass your Ofsted inspection. So I've written a very short paragraph for the first one for you. So you can leave this one here and then you only have to do the other 3. Let's read mine. Schools are all required to write policies and to put them on their website. The government sets out all the ones that are statutory. That means you have to do it by law. If a school did not make sure they are kept up to date, then they would certainly not get a good Ofsted report. And then I've put a link to the website where it sets out which policies you actually must have written in school and up on your school website. Here are 3 more reasons that I'd like you to try and explain. Next one says, so that all staff can understand and consistently follow the different laws that the government have written. And that's the laws that are relevant to schools. So you need to say, if there were no school policies, each member of staff would have to go and read all the different laws, health and safety law, safeguarding law, data protection law, and they might all interpret them differently. And we want the staff to be consistent. So schools write policies to help staff understand the law. The next reason is that schools need to write policies for the parents. It's kind of explaining the school rules to the parents. And if, for example, a parent came to complain, the school would be protecting their staff. They could say, look, this is what's written in the policy. Our member of staff was following the policy, and therefore, as a parent, that's what you should expect. And it will help to deal with complaints. And the third one is to make sure the children in the school are kept safe. That's why you have a health and safety policy, and that they can achieve to their full potential. So you might have a special educational needs policy to make sure that all children, whatever their ability, can do the best that they can. Okay, so your 3 paragraphs that you're going to write, 3 short paragraphs should fit in this box here. Let's have a look at the second question. The second question is a bit of a sorting game. It asks you to identify the policies and procedures schools and colleges have for staff welfare, pupil welfare, and the ones that cover teaching, learning and achievement. So really what you need is a list of school policies, and you're going to sort them into those 3 boxes. If you scroll to the top here and look very closely at my infographic, it's a Wordle, you'll see a list of school policies. And you need to take each one of these and decide which box they need to go in. So where would you put the staffing policy? Well, I think that should go under staff welfare. And this is an identify question, so you can just put, like I've started for you here, a list of policies. And then in a list, you can't just write the single list of policies. You need to put a little phrase to show that you know what each policy is about. So I've done one for you, data protection policy. And I've said staff's personal details will be kept safely and not shared, for example, with the parents. And then I've put health and safety policy. Can you add a little bit more to that to say, why would schools have a health and safety policy for their staff? And then I've asked you to put at least 5. So you need to pick 3 more policies. I'll show you in a minute where else you can get those from. So you've got 1, 2, and then add 3 more in here and a little sentence on the end of each one. Here's the next section, pupil welfare, and I've put the safeguarding policy. That's the first one that comes to mind to protect the pupils, isn't it? And I've put staff know how to spot the signs of abuse because they will all be set out in the policy, and they'll know to report any concerns they have to the safeguarding officer. Another one for pupil welfare is the attendance policy. What if the children aren't attending school? What would be in the attendance policy? Can you say how it would protect their welfare? And then please, can you choose 3 more policies that are to do with pupil welfare? And then finally, we've got teaching, learning and achievement. The first one I've chosen is the literacy policy. And I've said this sets out all the English skills for children from year 1 to year 6. Why doesn't it start with the early years foundation stage reception children? They might have a separate policy. You could put it as one of your other 3 down here. And the homework policy, why would a school have one of those? Can you put a little phrase in here to show you know what would be in the homework policy? Let's go back to Moodle and see what help I've given you. So here's the worksheet. We've just looked at that. Here's some information to help you. So I've given you some pages from the Louise Burnham textbook. Let's click on that. And you'll see there's a paragraph here that's about why schools and colleges have policies and procedures. That's the explain one. But look over here, there's a whole list of all the different policies that relate to staff, 2 boxes full of student welfare and 1 on teaching and learning. I've just asked you to pick 5 staff ones, 5 from student welfare and 5 for teaching and learning. So you could get them from here. It doesn't tell you what they all are, but you pick the ones that you might know about. And also, here's the link to the government website on the policies that schools must have. That was mentioned in the worksheet. And finally, you could have a look on your own school website to see what policies they have. If you're not sure what a policy includes, click on your school website and see what the policy is all about. I've put a link here to Hannah More Primary School's policy section in case you can't find yours. This question is not saying in your own school, so you can write about any school when you're giving examples. Okay, have a go at the worksheet, fill it in and send it to me.